Quick public service announcement before we get kicked off for today. There was a problem with YouTube in general on Thursday, Friday, Saturday last week, where a lot of videos for a lot of creators weren't showing up on channel pages, weren't showing up in sub boxes. I assure you, I released videos as normal on Thursday, Friday and Saturday in this series. So if you're looking at this video thinking, oh, finally, Kev's uploaded a video. He's been off for ages. I had no time off. If you want to avoid spoilers, head back to the channel page and watch the ones you've missed first, because obviously 3 episodes worth of stuff has happened since you potentially last saw it. Hello and welcome to Club 4, part 28 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our FA Cup semi-final game against Arsenal at Wembley. And then we've got the local derby in the Premier League at home against Chelsea. Couldn't really have picked 2 bigger games, could we? Since you were last with me, I guess Bayern Munich was the last episode, presumably. Did we play Bayern and Brighton? So we've actually only played 2 games. Well, it's 3 days for me, but only 2 games for you. We beat Man City away, which was an incredible result, but then lost against Manchester United, which, I mean, it was no shame in that result, but it wasn't as incredible. So the Premier League situation looks like this as we try and secure a Europa League spot for a second year running. We're 7th in the Premier League with 7 games to go, We've got games in hand on everybody. 2 games in hand on Wolves, 1 on Leicester and everyone else above us. There's only a 1-point gap between us and Wolves. There's a catchable gap between us and Leicester. I don't know, do we play Leicester? We do play Leicester. We've got Leicester at home coming up. So a 5th place finish isn't inconceivable. 6th, if we keep good form, should work for us. But the easiest route into Europe is to win the FA Cup and pick up our first trophy as well. So that's what we want to do. And this is the team that we're going to put out there to do exactly that. We've got Lopez in goal, a back 4 of Bell, Schuster, Kubik and Sessegnon, with Toussaint as our holding midfielder, Ceballos and Horta in front of him. And then the first choice front 3 all together, Mirabella, Mitrovic and Hall. I can't remember if we have any injury issues going into this game. That looks like a pretty strong team to me. Doesn't look like there's anybody missing. Wowzers, we've got a full strength team at the business end of the season. That is an impressive situation to be in. Let's get into this game. So Liverpool have beaten Brentford on penalties in the first semi-final at Wembley earlier today. Again, Football Manager, Sports Interactive, if you're watching, I don't think this is how the FA Cup semi-final works in real life. It would be a great day out if you did 2 games at Wembley in one day. There'd probably be some kind of traffic congestion, problems on the tube though. So pretty sure this isn't how it happens. But should we do the underdog team talk? We haven't done this for a little while. I know it's a big call and a big match, but let's calmly say we're the underdogs. Simon Hall likes it. He loves being an underdog. The rest of them, completely indifferent to me. I don't care if Danny Cowley stays or goes at Huddersfield, but in my experience, if you show support for other managers, you're less likely to get sacked yourself. I don't think I'm in danger of getting sacked at Fulham anytime soon, but, you know, got to show solidarity as part of the managers' union and all that. But blooming heck, Arsenal, they've just absolutely torn us apart in the first 50 seconds of the game. They're playing a diamond. The cheeky rascals. What right have they got to do a Kev special and play a diamond? We just need to get our wingers to destroy them then. They've got no width themselves. This is a day for Mirabella and Hall. It's a clash of 2 footballing sensibilities. This is current Kev against old Kev. Who was better? If it turns out old Kev was right all along, I'm going to be gutted after all the changes I've made for FM19. Lopez plays the ball forward to Mirabella, nods down to Ceballos, and it's Horta out to Hall, who has space to run into because Arsenal don't have any width. He shoots from way out. Probably had the option to maybe play in Mirabella or Mitrovic, who were ahead of him. But I won't criticise him just yet because it's new Kev versus old Kev. I mean, was it Arsenal we managed last? Was that last year we managed Arsenal? Or was it the year before? It's even Kev's old team playing Kev's old system, sort of. Mitrovic is in and just fires high and wide. I thought for a minute that had been a save, but no, that's gone down as a goal kick. So he's just flailed at that, hit it high and wide, and we're fairly evenly matched. Half an hour gone, possession's fairly even, shots are even, fouls are even. We're 2 very evenly matched teams, which if you'd have offered us that when we turned up at Fulham as a mid-table championship team 3 years ago, we'd have accepted being roughly equivalent to Arsenal in the FA Cup semi-final. Arsenal have just had a big player injured as well, so fingers crossed. I mean, I've got to be happy with... This is tricky now. I'm going to stay with the underdog thing. There you go. Hall and Mirabella both happy with it now. Just keep playing it down. It's a big game. We've always failed in the FA Cup. We've got a history of being FA Cup bottle jobs. But usually we bottle it against teams much worse than we are. Today we play against a team better than us. Maybe we need to go into it as an underdog and pull off an upset victory. I mean, we're not, even if we get to the final, we're not going to beat Liverpool. Liverpool have been a dominant team in the Premier League for the last several years. They're up another level from Arsenal. But it would be nice to get the opportunity to try. Mirabella's not playing very well at all. And Ruiz, fresh off of his goal against Manchester United in midweek, seems like a simple substitution to make. Mitrovic also not playing well. So on comes Liam Thorne, playing at Wembley for the first time, I think. Obviously, he'll play at Wembley many times over his career because he's going to be an England superstar. But not quite yet. In other news, people have been asking about Garces, the young striker. We'll talk about him after the game. Remind me. If I don't talk about it, I'll put it in the comments. Someone will have to remind me to do that. I'm trying to decide what final change to make. I want to take off Simon Hall. I don't know whether I want to bring on Franco or Moura. I think I'm going to bring on Lucas Moura just for experience and the fact he's an ex-Spurs player. So might have that extra bit of motivation to put Arsenal in their place. But Franco has been in great form all season long. We're blessed with a lot of very good wingers. Sessegnon now, over to Horta. The game just stopped. Luckily, it didn't crash. Ceballos from range, and it's just over. And although we've been fairly even for possession, that's the first shot I remember us having in ages. And we've not really threatened a huge amount. It looks like we're going to extra time. We've already had extra time and penalties in the first semi-final. So, that traffic congestion and tube problems are only getting worse. Let's just keep going with underdog. Is it the FA Cup we can make a fourth change in? I know I ask this every season. It is. We need to get Horta off if he's injured. Moura can come back and play in central midfield. We've done that plenty of times this year. And it gives us the opportunity to get Franco on as well. So if things start to go wrong, we can always push Moura forward and go to a 4-2-3-1. Although that doesn't really work with Toussaint. He gets a bit of a nosebleed if he has to walk past the centre circle. So we'll probably stick as we are. Bell on the left-hand side finds Ruiz. Ruiz over to Moura, playing very deep, but obviously loads of experience. Good player. Should be all right. Sessegnon is dispossessed, though. Trying to win it back. Chasing Maitland-Niles all the way back into the penalty area, who just messes up completely. It falls to Ruiz, who probably could and should have done a little bit better, but it was great pressure from Sessegnon, lost the ball and was not going to give up in trying to win it back. And it says a lot, really, that it's our defence that have been our star players today. Same for Arsenal. It's a proper 0-0. Both defences playing very, very well. And have we just given away a penalty? Oh, my word. And it's our superstar player, youngster Bell, has given away a penalty in the 106th minute. And now we need Lopez to save it, and he doesn't. Right, well, second half of extra time coming up. We're 1-0 down and we haven't really looked like scoring. I know there's going to be people in the comments screaming, go attacking, do that 4-2-3-1 you just talked about. I'm not going to do either of those things, mainly because, in my experience, you go attacking in a situation like this and everything just stops. The best way to get back into a game, and it might just be false memories and all that, I need someone to do a statistical analysis. But as far as I'm concerned, the best way to get back... I get back into games more often if I just leave it well alone and hope that the team we've got out there is good enough. I've told them to show passion, but I think we're struggling a bit here. One game too far. Oh, Lopez nearly carries it over his line. It doesn't really matter anyway. There's 20 seconds left. And it looks like for the third or fourth season in a row, we've gone deep in the FA Cup and not made it to the final. And I'm feeling a bit of an FA Cup curse in this series. I think all the FA Cup run good we've had in the home series, we're getting the opposite end of that in non-league to legend. And the FA Cup's just a monster to us constantly. There you go. I've got to keep up with the theme of the match. Good work. It was not to be. Boo-hoo. Kev's sad. But let's cheer everybody up because I wanted to talk to you about Garces. we're going to talk about Garces. The big news is there's three big pieces of news. Big piece of news number one is he's been out on loan in the Liga all season. I think I told you about that. I might not have done. Big news number two, though, is about a month ago we offered him a new contract. He signed it and got a work permit. We can't recall him from Girona before the end of the season because he's on a season-long loan, but he now has a 5-year contract with a work... Oh, in fact, it was back in December. It wasn't a month ago. I should have told you about this 3 episodes back. But he now has a work permit for the next 4 years. He is going to be part of our first team squad next season. And star rating-wise, he's as good as Mitrovic and as good as Thorne. He's a wonder kid. I mean, that's not spectacular, but they're not using him right. This is a Girona team who are struggling in La Liga, whereas we're going to be a Fulham team pushing for a Champions League spot with a wonder kid up front. Exciting times ahead. But first, we need to actually get into Europe again for next year, because if we don't, he might decide he just wants to leave before he's ever played for us. 3 changes for the Chelsea game then, all for fitness reasons really, just rotating players out of the team who look like they could do with the rest. So Wendell and Mawson come in at the back for Bell and Kubik, and Pineda comes into midfield at the expense of Horta. Let's get into the game. This is the first time Wendell started a game since before his first injury, I think. Bell has absolutely confirmed himself as our first choice left back over the course of this season, and we will be looking to move Wendell on in the summer. I don't think we'll get the £11.5 million for him we paid for him back last year. Paul Bell's being rested. I just said that. It's like he doesn't listen. Who is he? Rowan. Rowan doesn't listen to me. I was hoping I wouldn't be asked about this on the tunnel interview. I thought I'd sneak this one through. I've extended Shane Duffy's contract again. It dropped down to 4.5 years. We've pushed him back up to 5 years. There is method to it. He's taken a massive pay cut. He's only earning £40,000 a week now. And I'm hoping that I can just keep extending his contract whilst reducing his salary. He's a team leader. I imagine he's going to become part of our coaching structure at some point. I'm determined to justify that £10 million I spent on him. But when he first came in, he was earning big money. And each new contract, although it's a little bit longer, it's on a little bit less money. We both have an understanding that his career is winding down. He's not going to be a regular starter for us anymore. But we kind of want to have him around the place, and I'd rather have him for 5 years on 40 grand a week than for the next 3 years on 70 grand a week, as an example. It's like a wage budget version of doing a player on the Never Never, one of my old trademarks. I'd rather let whoever's managing Fulham in 4 years' time worry about the fact they're paying a 38-year-old Shane Duffy 40 grand a week, because I'm almost certainly not going to be here then. And if I am, we're going to be so rich it doesn't matter anyway, because we'll be in the Champions League if I'm still here at that point. So it's a kind of a let's free up some wage budget now and just worry about the rest of it later. It's proper Kev football, and Chelsea have just scored after 15 minutes, and this is my worry. We're on a little bit of a rough run of results. They're all games we should have lost. We lost against Manchester United. We lost against Bayern Munich. We lost against Arsenal. We're probably going to lose against Chelsea. They're all teams you would expect us to lose against. The only problem is, with Football Manager being so much about morale and momentum and dynamics and all that kind of stuff, there's only so far it takes. They were good teams you should have lost into account. And eventually it gets to the point of, you've lost 4 of your last 7 games, you're in poor form, your confidence is dropping, and our next match we're away against Huddersfield, and all of a sudden we're going to Huddersfield on a run of losing more games than we've won, and a game that we should cruise to victory in, we start doubting ourselves, morale starts to become an issue, and you can see there that's just a defensive mess going on there, and that's not the sort of thing we were doing 10 games ago. See, frustrated, anxious players. This is not a good situation for us to be in. And I think I need to calm them down somehow, but I don't know how to calm them down. Literally hovering over the words calm down now. Calm down. I don't know if that's the right thing to say. Sessegnon, massive cross to the far post for Mirabella. Mirabella hits the post, but that could have been a little bit special. It was a lovely cross from Sessegnon. And now we've got a load of... We've got a load of players who are disinterested now because I've calmed them down. And now we're back to motivation, frustration, furious, anxious. Oh, this has all gone wrong. Show some passion. I've ruined this one. And now Southampton are giggling, just looking behind our backs, just giggling, level on points with us. They don't care that we've got a game in hand. They can see us in disarray. We're falling apart. Oh, we need something, and I don't know what the something is. I tell you what, I know exactly what the something is. We need a couple of games where we're not playing against Bayern Munich, Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal. The Huddersfield game can't come soon enough. I just hope that we can get ourselves up for it and score a decent result and use that as a catalyst for the rest of the season, because we've still got some massive games to play. We still have to play Leicester in the league. I think we still play Arsenal again in the league later on in the season. Lopez, what has he done there? What on earth has he done? My word. I don't even know what to say about this. Might bring Ben Randall into the team if this is what Lopez is going to be doing. That is straight at him. And rather than catching it or letting it hit him and bounce off, he's just sort of pushed it into the corner of the goal. And now we've got a lot of furious players, which I can understand. I think, despite the fact it's a team you'd expect us to do well against, we're 3-0 down against, not do well against, sorry. We're 3-0 down against our local rivals, and that was terrible. So let's shout at them and hope that we can go out there and be a different side in the second half. We're going to give it 10 minutes maybe before we look to the bench and see what we've got down there. Horta's probably too tired to make an impact that early, but we've got Mora, Ruiz, Franco. These are all players who could come on and offer us something a little bit different going forward. Sessegnon across to Hall. Hall, can he just stick that into the back of the net? He can't. It's not straight at the keeper, but it wasn't a particularly threatening effort either. Right. We're going to make some changes. Toussaint's been awful. That actually makes me think, take him off and do a 4-2-3-1. Horta's the obvious man to do it as well. I don't care that he's injured. Let's get him on. Pineda can drop back to be that. Horta, this is what he's supposed to be. This is what we were promised when he signed, and we've never used him in this position. But let's see if he's any good at it. And I'm also going to take off Mirabella and bring on Ruiz and make that change as well. And let's see if let's demand more. Where are we? Demand more. Just show me something different, lads. Sessegnon to Hall. Pineda playing a little bit deeper now. Plays it out to Wendell. Wendell down to Ruiz. Ruiz. It's ended up in the back of the net somehow. I don't know who it's gone in off. It's an own goal off the Chelsea defender. It was a really soft cross as well. There didn't seem to be any major threat from that move, but it might just be the little bit of luck that we need to fire us up. It's actually hit him on the back of the head. That's amazing. Why wasn't he looking at the ball? I know you're not supposed to ball watch. He's got to keep an eye on the man he's marking. But for a cross to hit a centre-back on the back of the head, you've got to be asking some questions. Right, Hall is coming off as well, and we're going to bring on... I don't know which one we bring on. We'll bring on Mora, mainly because he's fitter. That's the only basis we're bringing Mora on for. Otherwise, I'd like to bring him and Franco on. They're both very good. I want to play with three wingers at the same time. Franco, Hall and Mora, all down the right-hand side. We might have to do a reverse special K. There you go, there's a blast. It's all about blasts from the past for you today. Talking about the special K on the channel. We haven't done a special K for over a year. They're going to score a fourth, aren't they? Just over. We've looked a lot better in this second half, but that's probably because Chelsea have just massively taken their foot off the pedal, because looking at the stats, they've completely dominated the entire match. They just haven't felt the need to attack very hard in this second half. But I don't know, hopefully turning it around and winning the second half. But now Ceballos has been sent off, so that's us without him for the next game. In fact, he might miss 2 games because I think that's his second red card of the season. And now Horta has to drop back into normal midfield anyway. We're going to push him further forward and just do that for the last, 3 minutes of added time. Let's see if we can grab a second. 3-2, and suddenly we save a bit of face. Wendell now can't beat the first man with his cross. We need Bell back for the next game. Wendell just hasn't got it anymore. He's gone full El Shaarawy. Sessegnon now. Sessegnon's looked very dangerous down that right-hand side all through this match. Another argument for the reverse special K, because Sessegnon has got a cross on him. But I think that's probably that. 30 seconds left on the clock. I'll take the whistle now, ref. I don't need to see Chelsea score again. We want to be able to say we won the second half. Sessegnon again. Sessegnon's been very good today. For a defence that looked really poor, Sessegnon has looked solid, attacking and defensively, although I think he was one of the ones involved in the mess that was the second goal, if I remember rightly. Pineda, And no, we don't get time to attack. They get time to attack. We don't get time to attack, though. Ridiculous. There needs to be something that says, you know what, second half, you did do what I asked. There isn't really one, though. So, I guess I'll just assertively say that. There you go. Fire them up. And hopefully we can go into this Huddersfield game and then the big game against Leicester with a little bit of form. Yeah, there you go. I knew we had to play Arsenal again. Arsenal on the last day of the season. That's a mid-table Arsenal team, remember, but also an Arsenal team that just destroyed us in the FA Cup semi-final. So it's going to be it's certainly not nailed on that we're going to be in the Europa League next year again, but fingers crossed we can put enough of a run together in these games, massive matches against Leicester and Wolves particularly, and that's where we'll come back. We'll come back for Wolves tomorrow. We'll do Wolves and Arsenal tomorrow, and hopefully secure a top. Well, I guess it has to be a top 6 finish. Who won the League Cup? Because if Arsenal have got a chance to win the FA Cup, League Cup. Who won the League Cup? Man City. Okay, so top 7 should do it, I think. You lot can explain it to me in the comments again. I'm never going to learn. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.